Welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight, getting choked up over here, I'm joined by my very good friends. First of all, we got Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. We also have the one and only Anthony Amato. We like to call him Shamato. And then we got my boy, Zach Markham in the building, joining us as well. Boys, it's so good to see y'all. We're back in person again. Another episode of the Royal Geek Pod. How y'all feeling?
Great, man. Great. Gosh, I was actually a little bit surprised this week with the episode we're about to review.
How's it feel to have to be positive?
Well,
again?
hold on. There's still room. To go negative. Anyway.
I'm glad to be here. It was a busy week, and definitely glad that I survived. So, yeah.
Wow, you're here. You're living.
Yeah. Zach, did you have a near-death experience again this week?
I didn't this week.
All right.
I made it another week. I'm here, man.
As he sits right here.
Yeah, dude. We'll see what happens next week.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
I love it. Well, big shout out to all of our listeners. We are obviously here to review episode number 3 of She-Hulk, which is titled The People versus Emil Blonsky. Not bad, huh, guys?
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
No prep, right? No prep.
Yeah. I didn't ask what the show was or what the episode was titled right before we hit record.
Yeah. It's
Also-
not like it took us 4 takes to get that.
Also, if you happen to hear any squeaky toys going off, that would be Beanie, the pod dog.
Pod dog.
Yep.
Pod dog.
So you can show your love for Beanie, the pod dog here, wherever you're listening or wherever you're watching, because we're on YouTube now, we're on TikTok, we're all over the place, man.
Yep.
So subscribe to the podcast wherever you watch or listen. Leave a comment, leave a review, share the podcast, share the videos. All of that stuff helps us out tremendously. We really greatly appreciate it, and Beanie would as well.
Yes.
So with that in mind,
Oh, that was a good one. All right, Beanie.
Wow.
she's ready to play. With that in mind, she liked the episode.
She did.
With that in mind, let's get started. Here's your spoiler warning. We're about to talk about a spoiler review of episode 3. So, fellas, how'd y'all feel? I mean, you guys were kind of across the board pretty down on the show last week.
Yeah.
How are y'all feeling tonight?
Well, I did think it was better substance-wise, just basically because we got more of Emil Blonsky, and we got Wong, and we got obviously She-Hulk was more prominent because at the end of the episode she kind of accepted herself, right? And so now I feel like it's setting the show up to transition to be better, I think. I do think there's a few negatives still, but I'll save that portion for later.
Yeah. I will say it's interesting to see the way that they've kind of like blown through traditional roadblocks that you might have thought there would have been. Like, I feel like the whole origin story could have been a big roadblock, but they got through that in an episode. The whole Blonsky trial, I was kind of expecting to play out longer than it actually did, but it was done in an entirety. We actually had 2 trials, well, although one was truly a parole hearing, but then we got through 2 in one episode, which is interesting. It seems to be moving quickly through the content that they're doing. And it has this odd feeling. It's almost like when you're driving in a car and you kind of forget that you're in a car for a second, and then you're like, oh, and you look up and you're at your destination. And it seems like as you're going along, they're just, you're moving, but you're not really feeling that you're moving as you're going.
Yeah. I do like the fact that in this episode, they announced like a lot of the issues that the series was having by her breaking the fourth wall and addressing it like to the fans. Like the backlash and everything from the show, being like considered like a feminist show. This isn't your typical series, like, full of cameos, like in the first, couple episodes, like she said that, which makes me think is because like all these episodes were made like together. Like it's not like it's being made like a week and then released. So like Marvel predicted this was going to happen. The writers predicted this was going to happen. So, which means is like they have us. I feel like they have the fans like right where they want us. So, So like,
they tend to do that. They do. Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. However, there were some things in this episode where like just didn't make sense to me like at all. But
are you saying that Marvel successfully predicted that there would be grumpy old white men who don't like She-Hulk?
I mean, they already had grumpy old white men who didn't like Miss Marvel, so yeah.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And they kind of did the same thing with like WandaVision too. Like obviously the first 2 episodes were black and white.
Yeah.
And then like I feel like they knew they were setting the viewer up a certain way, and then when that episode 4 hit in WandaVision, then they knew they reeled everybody back in. And I don't know, they might be smarter than we think. So.
Yeah. It's almost like they get paid to do this, and
sure,
we just are doing this for free.
Right. Exactly.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that there was literally 2 different trial scenes, like 2 different legal battles happening.
Well, her fourth wall break, it connected them. It's like, oh, storyline A and storyline B connected.
Yes, which was pretty hilarious. I love that.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. Why don't we start by talking about the shape-shifting Asgardian?
Asgardian.
Yes. How
Yes.
about that one, man? I thought the scenes that she was in, like where you didn't know that she was transitioning there. Like, for example, when Dennis leaves the room and he comes back in, he's like, never mind. I don't want to do it. Like, I just thought that transition was just so smooth. And then the same when she leaves the room and she's the other guy and she's like, I love harassing women. Like it was smooth. I like that.
good.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it looked really cool. Of course, you knew that's what that was. You're like, oh yeah, this person's obviously messing with us and doing the whole shapeshifter thing. Going along, so kind of also reminding us that scrolls exist a little bit too, in a way. So because it's been a while since we've seen one. They get dropped every once in a while, but it's kind of reminding us that hey, there are these people that can shift forms.
Do y'all think that she was a scroll?
Do I think she is one?
Yeah. I think she's like legit just Asgardian.
I think she's
I think
legit.
she's just I think she's just an Asgardian. I don't know. Maybe she knew Frigga. Maybe she's one of the witches like Frigga.
Here's the real question: is Megan the Stallion a scroll? That's the question.
I'm
Megan the Stallion.
Megan the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say yes.
She's canonized now, bro.
Yep.
Forever Marvel lore.
Yep.
I didn't know she was a saint.
And she's legit like she's like in the MCU, man.
Yes, she is.
So
Somehow.
I didn't see that one coming.
This series has kind of shown me something. Like, we're always expecting like the Marvel TV series to have like big moments, like awe moments, but like this show is just existing to exist, like to kind of be there. It's not trying to hit every big event and like cause us to speculate on what's going to happen in the universe. It's just here as like enjoyment. And literally in episode 1, she says, "Okay, now back to the lawyer show." Like, they addressed it. Like, we're not going to touch on these massive events. We're going to literally watch a Marvel show about a lawyer.
Right. Except at the same time, you get mentioned like mind wiping people, which is like a reference to Spider-Man.
Yep.
And like the shapeshifter, like we've already talked about it, but kind of reminds us that like, oh yeah, there's like scrolls out there. Like, this is going to be a big storyline. She might not be a scroll, but this is going to be a big storyline for Marvel going forward.
Yeah, they're subtly dropping like Easter eggs and hints like for what Marvel has in store next.
They're incepting us right now. They're planting the seeds for all, and then we're like, oh yeah, She-Hulk said something about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going to happen.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's possible what they're kind of showing us is the whole idea of this being a lawyer show, and they are basically doubling down on it every single time that they kind of all those big moments that they have said they've been either in passing or they've been moments that have gone by very quickly. The moments that they have lingered on have been more about the actual lawyering and things like that. So it's just as they went very quick through her origin story, and they went very quickly through his parole hearing. They're glossing over a lot of like the really, really big things that you normally like stop on and have time to digest. But now they're glossing over those moments and focusing on the more interpersonal moments that she is having as a lawyer.
And the moments of her being a lawyer, like she mentions throughout, like, I just want to go back to being a normal anonymous lawyer. Like, she says it multiple times throughout the show about just wanting to be normal, left alone, a lawyer, anonymous, that kind of stuff. And which I feel like leads like really well into her decision at the end, where she's like, you know what, let's just embrace it and go full force on this. But just the fact that this is a lawyer show, whatever, right? But like, she is trying so hard to be that lawyer, but then realizes that, oh wait, this is a Marvel show. I have to be a Marvel lawyer, that kind of thing. I just thought that was well done and executed.
I think getting jumped in the middle of the night too will cause you to
Yeah,
accept your new reality.
the Asgardian construction crew, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, by far probably the most interesting scene in the entire episode.
Yeah,
and not even the fact that she got jumped or even the weapons they were using, but just like it was one line that made it the scene.
Yeah.
Like, the boss isn't going to be happy about this.
That was it. Yep.
Like, who is the boss? Who is, calling all these shots? Is it
Yep.
going to be someone like Kingpin or something along those lines? And that's how they're kind of bringing in like a character like Daredevil. Daredevil is somehow going to be,
Yep.
introduced through
Okay.
kind of backdoor in that way.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see who this so-called boss is that is looking for the Hulk's blood.
Yeah, that line is going to be the thing that like causes all people like us
Yeah.
here to speculate and try to figure out who the heck it was.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of theories out there. But I did enjoy seeing the live action rendition of the Wrecking Crew from
Yes.
the comic books. They're like a C tier villain,
Yeah.
and here they are just casually scrolling around.
Gosh, they look like
yeah.
a C tier group.
They,
man.
trust me,
they really did.
trust me, they are in the comics. It's
Yeah,
quite,
but at least in
quite
the
funny.
comics, they look like they're big and massive and
right.
swole. Like these just look like some schmucks, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe they are.
The dude just wearing the helmet, and he was like the worst looking one. Is it literally he's just wearing a sparkly helmet, and like he's just like air punching. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the
stupid.
tracksuit
Oh,
mafia.
yes, Tracksuit Mafia, also in contention for one of the worst Marvel
Oh, they were
groups or
great.
villains.
No, they were great.
Oh man,
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought Kingpin, but that's interesting.
oh, I mean, I got a few. I mean, I
It could
thought
be.
initially I thought Kingpin, but then
yeah?
I started diving a little deeper and thinking like this has to be a She-Hulk villain or somebody related to the Hulk.
Yeah, or
people.
Yeah.
could it be the Power Broker? Could it be Val? Like, I feel like there's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think. See, those ones I didn't think about. No.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like it's maybe the leader trying to get her DNA.
Yeah.
Maybe that
I mean,
could
I
be-
think it'd be something as simple as her current boss. Like, I think it could be something along
he's got
those
some-
lines.
he's got
you
some
know,
vibes,
like
man.
maybe there's
Some bad
a,
vibes.
maybe he's playing both sides of this and he doesn't really, have her best interests at heart.
Interesting.
But I do think that is kind of like the spark of the conversation to where up until this point, it's been not for like the worst part, but it's kind of been like just kind of meandering kind of through. Whereas that line seems like it's going to be like the focusing point. Like it is the launch point for the actual like main storyline in the show. Hopefully, that's what I would hope it would be, or maybe even something better than that. But because Marvel and DC know better than me, and
I don't know. I don't know if DC knows better than you at this point, but Marvel for sure.
Ooh, stinger.
Ouch.
Oh
Yeah.
man, but I don't know. We'll probably get a big reveal next week about who the boss
It
is
could
or
be.
some. It could be
Could it be
around
a
the corner.
meal?
Oh, maybe it could be.
Yeah, I mean, because I still like this episode again. Like another episode goes by where I'm like, okay, like I'm actually really believing this whole he's reformed, he's changed,
Yeah.
he's redeemed, But it's almost like just way too good to be true.
Right. Yeah.
But
It
he
just-
looks.
It is way.
it
too
just
good
feels
to be
like
true.
such a waste of a character if it is true. Like I know it's like you would hope as outside of the Marvel universe, you would hope that a human being who had been put into this situation that it would all be true, and that this is what you're hoping that. This is what every person is hoping when you hear prison. You're hoping that someone comes out as a reformed person, as someone who has made a real change in their life, that they're making a move in the right direction. But I mean, you just can't. I just can't believe that, especially with the character that he was in the original Hulk movie, like that character is somehow the character that it is right now. It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem to fit.
And that's one of the negatives that I had. And like he's acting like Trevor Slattery right now. Like that's what he's acting like.
He is. I'll agree with you. Like
And it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit who he was.
Yeah, he's playing such a soft person. Now, of course, I would love to see if they do this has been his long con for years and years and years. And that's how it's turning out. That would I could see that making sense. and it playing out like that. But if it were to be something where he's really reformed, I mean, it just doesn't fit his character, like from the comic books or from anything that we've seen on screen so far.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's being orchestrated. Now, orchestrated by him or orchestrated by Val or orchestrated by Val with the assistance of Wong. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of speculations there.
You insinuating that Wong might be
Assisting the Thunderbolts.
compromised?
Maybe not compromised, but
Just
as
utilized, like he's manipulated?
I mean, he could be just ill-informed, like in the sense that he thinks he's helping a group that is,
Right.
supposed to be positively enacting things across, the world, and it just ends up, not being what he
Or
thought it
he's
was.
just like true neutral, and the fact that their cause is being, I don't know, manipulated to be a just thing or
Yeah.
a positive thing, that Wong's like, okay, yeah, I'm so neutral that this does sound good. I'll go ahead and help that
Yeah.
one. Whereas he's obviously helps the Avengers as well. So like they both have ideals that are good, but he's just gonna assist in any way possible.
Yeah.
Where that goes.
Yeah.
But it was great seeing Wong, especially his profile. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
paused it to
Yeah,
look at it.
Targeted sales associate.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
Target
Yeah, dude.
in Nepal.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Nepal has a target, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
It's been confirmed, yeah. So
That'd be amazing.
Oh my! And then the mutual friend connection was Bruce Banner on there. I just thought that was cool.
Yeah.
It had a lot. I don't know. I just the fact that he was it said a former librarian, and then the girl said, "Oh, I sent him a thirst trap." I had a picture of a bunch of books. Like,
Yeah, that was hilarious. Like, I love that little
Yeah.
underhanded line saying that was her thirst trap. Was just it's just me in a pile of books.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, when we watched Shang-Chi and Wong and Abomination were in that fighting ring, we were saying, what were they doing? Remember, we were asking that question,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so, again, assuming we can believe Wong, he gave us the answer. He said that he wanted a formidable opponent to help him in his training as the new Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
but the scene in Shang-Chi didn't really feel like that. Like, it felt like they were in on it together.
It did.
Yeah.
Hey, pull your punches next time. Or like,
I thought he said, don't pull your punches. Didn't he say don't?
oh, you watched it recently, right?
Yeah, I think he said, "Don't pull your punches."
I think he said don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't. That feels a little too weaselly to be the true intentions of Wong. I don't know. That just doesn't feel like his character-wise. Like, I feel like he might be hiding some other intention that is
Well,
actually more realistic.
If he is hiding something, it really makes me think what Markham said, talking about like if Val is using Wong in some way.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So here's my whole thing with that. Wong is the sorcerer supreme, right? He's already demonstrated like multiple times that he's not afraid of bending the rules or breaking the rules or breaking the law. If he's the sorcerer supreme and he's like trying to do everything like all goody two shoes and holy, why is he fighting in an underground illegal fight ring? Why is he breaking the law by admitting to a crime to the lawyers in this episode? So I don't think it's necessarily of him like taking the holy or just route, but taking the balanced route, or making sure that everything is balanced. And in order for things to be balanced with everything that's going on, and being the protector of the majestic arts, he might need mystical arts. Sorry, they are majestic though.
They are very majestic. Yeah.
By him helping Val and maybe assisting the Thunderbolts, because he might know that he might need the Avengers, or the world might need them later on.
I mean, it could be one of those things where there are threats that the Avengers can't necessarily take care of. Just
Correct.
as like it's based around the same kind of idea of there are threats that a traditional military is not equipped, or it doesn't look right for them to interact with. Where that's why you have Black Ops teams, and things of that
Avengers
nature.
Black Ops is what they could protect.
The Avengers Suicide Squad.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, no,
but,
yeah.
but there are groups that you don't want to be associated with
Unofficially.
to be unofficial. So I mean, that would be a possibility that he understands that there is that idea. I do think that Wong is kind of on the side of more like lawful good, though, just because of the way that he interacted with Doctor Strange in the first Doctor Strange movie, and he was kind of the moral, like, stick in the mud to
like, don't do that spell.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically.
But it's so interesting because it's like he's like that when it comes to the mystic arts, but when it comes to the law, like the law of the land, he almost is like, well, I'm above that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's,
You know,
he's
yeah.
not afraid to wipe people's memories,
Yeah.
apparently.
Well, but he didn't
wasn't-
want to do that.
He
one.
wasn't the main one, the main person. Like he just kind of like looked the other way. That was his thing. Was looking the other way.
Yeah.
But as far as like breaking people out of jail, he's like, oh, gotta go. See ya.
Yeah.
And he like opened the portal and just like dipped out. Like,
Yep.
That's
Jeez.
my cue.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting. I still can't figure out Wong here, but I like that. I don't really know what's going on. So
Yeah, much different than Doctor Strange as a Sorcerer Supreme. Like you kind of can predict what Doctor Strange is going to do because
Yeah.
he has
Right.
that one mindset. Whereas Wong, you're like, okay, how is he going to play this? What's going to go on here? Does he actually know what's going on? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
also, it is very interesting. Like I remember when we found out that Wong was Sorcerer Supreme, and we were all like, I mean, I didn't think about the fact that like there had to be someone to take up the mantle of
Yeah.
Sorcerer Supreme until they said it in, I guess it was No Way Home, right?
They did.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that when?
Yep.
Yeah.
What,
so
I mean, it made so much sense.
it
like,
made sense, but it's
Yeah.
also like I just never saw it coming. So it's like, and I just love that like Doctor Strange now is like he's number 2.
yeah.
So
and
Wong.
and he's kind of he's kind of bitter about it,
Oh, for
just
sure.
a little bit,
For sure.
It's kind of like it's a very interesting relationship because I kind of see Doctor Strange is kind of like that. Like that, to use like sports metaphors, he's like that, ultra talented person who's been like the number one recruit since he was in high school,
Yeah.
and Wong is kind of that guy who like played at like a D3 school as a slot receiver, but puts up the same numbers as that recruit, but has had to fight for every inch and has to watch like hours of tape to actually be able to compete with that person who is just naturally ultra
I mean,
talented.
he had to be a librarian for like 11 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know, right? Poor guy. And how long was he a Target salesman for?
9
9.
years.
Wow.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good. That's good.
Let me think. Something else I loved. The fourth wall breaking in this episode, I thought
Yes.
was just perfect. All of it.
Yes.
Especially in the car
Oh yeah.
when she's talking about if don't want to be expecting these cameos every week.
Except except for
Yeah.
last week with Bruce and
Yeah, she said except for Bruce and
Blonsky.
Blonsky. She's like, huh. Would have been awesome if she said like another name.
yeah, that's
You know what would be great if she said
Oh,
another
yeah.
name of like someone you wouldn't expect. And then she's like, I'm just kidding. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
here. But then in like episode 8, that person.
she
Or
comes
what
back.
if this?
Just kidding.
It would have been really cool is if they said or and then they bleeped it out.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then she said and acknowledges the bleep out like,
Yes.
wait, why can't I say D? And then it bleeps out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been awesome.
And then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, okay, I guess you guys just have to find out.
yeah, that's good.
Guess I'll have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, just there's content for your podcast.
Yeah.
And she says that and just shuts up.
Yeah, just think of how deep people would have dug
Oh, man.
to uncover what would have been actually bleeped out. Like there have been people breaking down the audio.
Syllables.
Yes.
Yeah, like how long it
Yeah.
took to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's already like hundreds of speculations of like who's going to be next, like Daredevil. I've heard Wolverine.
Yeah.
And
Oh my god.
Kingpin.
Oof.
Yeah, like there's.
You literally can throw any name out there right now, and
Yeah.
and somebody will play the clip back. Oh, they were right the whole time. Just
Yeah.
start naming people. Just start naming people.
Tony
Yep.
Stark.
Tony. No, don't
Yeah,
go
like
that far. Don't
just
go
a
that far.
crazy name.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome, but oh well, we'll probably get more.
Yeah, we'll just edit the podcast however we want. Insert name here. and just like whoever it ends up being, we'll just insert a name right there and we'll be right,
That's how it works.
We
That's how
called
works.
it.
All right, I know some of you guys have some critical things you want to say. I think it's time to talk about the negatives, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Well, I had
Looking at you, Justin.
Yeah, I know. I had mentioned prior, like how it wasn't really. I don't know. I was a little disappointed. Well, actually, let's start here. Okay, so Wong, we talked about how much we liked him in the show, all right? But I was really not sold on his explanation with why
Yeah.
he was at the underground. Like we just literally just talked about it for like
He
5
could have
10
practiced
minutes.
fighting it,
But it truly
anywhere.
it truly just it made me upset. Like when he said that, I was like, that can't be the reason why
No.
you were doing that. Like it had to been something more to it. Like I don't know. I just felt like that was too petty for the Sorcerer Supreme to go to an underground fight. Like it took me out of the episode for a little while, like for maybe at least 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It took me out of the episode because I was just like, why would the Sorcerer Supreme need to go to underground fighting? Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all.
It just seemed to take away a little bit from the character that is Wong, that has been built over, you know.
For the money.
Oh, is that
the
it?
money.
Is that it?
I mean, where does he get his money from, you know?
He doesn't need money.
He doesn't need money. Like,
He obviously doesn't need money. Remember, he had to borrow money from Doctor Strange for a sandwich.
Or that retirement from Target is paying off.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Oh, man.
Maybe they could get a
maybe
good
the librarian
401k going.
there.
Maybe the librarian has a good pension plan or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or maybe with the Mystic Arcs, he can manipulate his retirement plan.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But that one really took me out of it.
Yeah. One thing that's kind of getting to me just a little bit, there are just moments where I feel like they could have done more effort into the CGI. Like, I feel like there are moments where, like, when she is walking as the Hulk, that are just, like, they seem a little clunky. And it even was in the last episode when they did the whole family, like, having her do stuff. When she was moving with stuff, it just felt, like, odd. I know that's a little one, but it's just, like, it felt like it could have been smoother when they were doing
I think it has to do with the clothes. I think the way that the clothes are animated or CGI,
Possibly.
like
There's just something that makes it look like, you know, it looks like almost like in a video game when you turn as a character rather than it being a person actually
like Grand Theft
turning.
Auto turnstile. You're
Yes, exactly. Like it's just a little too mechanical for me. So that there was that part. Like, I mean, that was probably my biggest critical thing. Other than the fact that I kind of felt like, although, like, I did say it's like nice that it's moving along, but it doesn't feel like there are a whole lot of like moments like really grabbing you at the moment. You know, like there are like other than that one line where after she gets mugged. It just felt like the episode was just kind of going along, and it wasn't necessarily like something that you would watch, like in me just like eyeballs, like just on the screen the whole episode. It just felt like there was something kind of missing in the draw in moments.
I will say this isn't like must-watch television right now. Like this is just you're watching it to be entertained. Like I completely understand if you want to go and wait until the entire series is over and binge it. Like that makes 100% sense. But as obviously we love Marvel content. Yeah, we watch it week to week, and but yes, it is not captivating. However, this episode showed me moments where it could reel us in as a Marvel fandom and give us moments that we are looking for. But this episode kind of taught me that I need to kind of reel it in a little with my expectations. Not everything has to be grandioso and Marvel like destroying box office numbers, that kind of stuff. Like we're not going to see Kang and She-Hulk, and like we don't need to speculate on Kang's going to show up. Like we need to just accept this for what it is, and what it told us it was going to be a lawyer show. So yes, I was very negative last week, but because of the way that the events played out in this week's episode, I've kind of like pulled back on my expectations, and I'm just going to sit back, watch, and enjoy what happens, whether I like it or not.
Yeah, I had to change my viewpoint as well as far as like watching it, because before, like I think Marvel fans do this like with any Marvel content, is they just expect like this huge progression in the Marvel universe with the story,
with every show,
episode.
Everything's connected. That kind of thing.
Everything's connected in the web and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That I think Marvel fans like need some sort of progression. But what I did is I went back and I rewatched this episode as a sitcom. Like whatever happens in the show doesn't matter. They're probably going to be on some stupid adventure, throw in some comedy here and there. And it's just going to be what it is a one-off episode with funny content, which is what a sitcom is. So the criticalness of my thinking and everything has like calmed down a little bit. However, the comedy that they're putting in here is very bland for me.
What did you say? The comedy?
The comedy.
Yeah. I was just thinking in my head, I was like, did I laugh much in this episode? I don't think I did.
Yeah. So like the whole like side mission that was going on between Dennis and the lawsuit and the Asgardian elf and everything, I don't know, it just wasn't captivating. Yeah. Like I get it, like it didn't have to make sense as a sitcom, but like there was, I don't know, it just wasn't funny for me.
I think it would have that B story would have been more interesting if you either cared about either one of the characters involved.
Yeah.
Or like one of the characters was like you saw and you were like, okay, this character is obviously better as a person than the other character.
Yep.
They were both not good people.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Yeah.
Like I think that's part of it is like if the elf or the lawyer had been like, or I'm sorry, the Asgardian or the lawyer had been like, if the lawyer had been like a really good person, he actually felt like he got duped, and
Yeah.
you might have been like, you know what, I'm happy that this happened, or the Asgardian, you know, it turned out that the you know the lawyer was just a really bad guy, which he was, but the elf didn't, or the Asgardian didn't seem like she was that much better of a person either. You know, she was
Right.
obviously willing to mess with our mortal world to, you know, get her way.
Pay off for Prasad.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Pay off for Prasad, you know, to literally get a trial thrown out because she was pretending to be the judge. You know, she did a lot of messed up things. She could have ruined that the guy who seemed like he was a relatively good lawyer that was defending him. She could have ruined his entire you know, career in law with what she did when she walked out of his office. If she had done something like significantly, you know, more, you know, bad, and you know, she obviously was not against using her powers for some form of evil / her own personal gain. So
Yeah.
it was just kind of a storyline that was like, maybe it was just to introduce the lawyer that was not a complete tool, and you know, maybe he's going to end up being someone who She-Hulk has
That
like
was-
a relationship with or something like that, and that's what they were really trying to do there.
Yeah, that was the same guy that made the welcome basket, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy. You could tell he's like really
Yeah.
just a good guy, man.
Well, and he's also from the Arrowverse.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's
Well, now what's that?
Oh, yeah.
Explain for our listeners and viewers.
he's on the show
We don't
Arrow.
watch that.
Is he
he's a
Prometheus?
villain in
Oh yeah.
Was it Prometheus?
wait,
Wait.
is that was his name? No. He was Chase, Adrian Chase. That's what he was.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yep. So, but yes. Anyway, so that was a side.
Back to things that don't matter. Yeah, this
episode,
the
yeah.
side story very much felt like
Didn't matter.
it didn't really matter. I mean,
Yeah.
there's again, for me, it was like, yeah, introducing us more to.
But she acknowledges it though. She's like plot A,
and that's
plot
what
B.
made it good.
Like, that's
Yeah.
what made that like moment. Like the fact
But-
that they're aware.
But also, again, I don't think that was a scroll. I think it was pretty clear that that's just an Asgardian elf that happened to have the same skill set as a scroll.
Yeah.
But it just reminds us, like,
Yeah. Hey.
this is right around the corner.
These are things.
Yeah.
They exist.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Well, how about
Yep.
the judge when she starts talking? The elf starts talking. It's like, this is no Thor speech. You can throw your Thor speech out.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You a little tired there.
Tired,
aren't you?
boys.
Wow.
Tired.
You can't hide that on video.
No, I'm not gonna either. I've been yelling all episode.
Oh, poor guy.
Yep.
Oh,
long
man.
day, long week, but
Now-
it's okay.
Now, the post-credit scene. All right, there's a lot of mixed reviews on the post-credit scene. People are like,
There's just a She-Hulk twerking, right?
yes, like,
Cringe.
everyone's like with Meg the Stallion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan the
Yeah.
Stallion.
So a lot of people are like, this is it's corny, it's cheesy, it's dumb. Marvel, like, this is the worst thing that happened to Marvel, that kind of stuff.
People are saying this
Yeah.
is the worst thing to happen to
Yeah,
Marvel.
they're like, they said Marvel should have never gone to streaming because the crap like this, like that's the kind of stuff. But if you really think about it, the post-credit scenes for She-Hulk have been fun, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they're all
been
just funny.
Yeah.
nonsense funny, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
kind of takes us back to several phase ones.
Feels like
where-
Marvel.
Yeah, they were funny. Like they were
Yeah.
there for throwaway jokes, that kind of stuff.
I mean, truthfully, although we loved it, the shawarma scene
Yeah,
at the
right.
end of Avengers was pretty stupid.
It was very,
like,
yeah.
it was not exactly a Oscar-winning.
and we
scene.
sat around for
Right.
5 to 10 minutes waiting for that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then obviously Howard the Duck just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been a ton of them.
Yeah, just
so
a ton
this,
of like
this is
stuff-
Marvel,
and it didn't necessarily drive the plot forward or anything like that in those scenes either. So it wasn't like they were there to do that either. So I mean, it's an end credit. If you should just get over yourself if you have issues with that.
Yeah, anybody that is critical of that, I'm just like, you know how many episodes? Like, this is the only Marvel show that so far every episode has given us something.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they're all fun. I'm just glad to have another 30 seconds of something to watch.
Yeah.
You know. You just can't make people happy, man. Everyone
Yeah.
complains about everything, dude. I'm getting tired of this crap.
Yeah. That's all people have time to do.
Yeah. Just complain about all those people complaining.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hate those people. All right, well.
man.
All right, anything else to say about this episode 3?
I will say that it seems like there was a spark that lit the fire. Hopefully, or at least there was the spark. So hopefully, it lights a fire.
Yeah, I agree with at least the ending, and hopefully we get Daredevil next week. I'm excited to see his return.
Yep.
It'll be fun to see.
Just a cool fact that I found out about this episode is the jail that he's at is the center of damage control. And I found that out because in Miss Marvel, when they're in the prison and everything, they zoom out. It's literally like the same building.
Yeah. I mean, it does say DODC on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool though. I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yep.
So.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
No, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Wake up, Justin. What are you tired?
I did.
Yeah, are you even a Marvel fan? Take that hat off.
I did enjoy when she was walking into the prisons and like the first time was that her? Was that her? Like I did think, and then afterwards the rumors they're like, is it true that you're pregnant with this baby or like stuff like that? Like it's like random stuff. I don't know, is it true you were rejected by the Avengers? And then
Rejected by the
and
Avengers.
then the news reporter turns around, breaking news. This just in. Rumor is
We're going to be rejected by the Avengers. What?
That was one of the interesting things is the random like blurbs that they would have, and they were like these gotcha quotes that they had. It was just so relevant in our current state of TV and news.
You got first. Being first is what
yes,
matters.
is what's most important.
Facts.
Or just having something that catches the eye. It doesn't have to be right.
It's just clickbait in real life. Yeah, there you go.
One of the quotes that they did mention, or one of the news reporters brought in, was pretty interesting. They quoted of how she got her powers.
Yes.
And it was like the original way of how she got her powers, like by a failed mafia hit. Yeah. Which is
that was a cool nod.
Also, the blatant sexism throughout the entire episode.
Well, all of those comments in the show, those are real comments from people when they announced the Shield.
Yeah, one of them was called Hard Seltzer Mike or something like that. I think
Hard Seltzer Steve. I think
Steve. Yeah, Hard Seltzer Steve. Yeah. And just and even like at the news anchor when she finally did her interview, like he kept calling her She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And then she's like, all right, we're going to go to break. And when we come back, She-Hulk will reveal her exercise or her diet and exercise routine.
She's like, what?
It's just like such a like sexist thing. Because she's a woman, they got to talk about diet and exercise.
Yeah. I will say one more thing that kind of shows the way that they've been showing the growth in her character is every time she does something for the second time, she's significantly better at it. So even when she walked into the prison, she was significantly more confident. She just flashed her badge, and she just went right through the laser beams this time. So it was interesting. Yeah. They're kind of keeping continuity on that front. So that's kind of interesting to see that, she's like, as soon as she learns something, she's like on top of it.
So let's see if she twerks better next time.
Oh, gosh. Second time all eyes on She-Hulk.
All right. I think that's a wrap, boys. This has been fun. Again, big shout out to all of our listeners, all of our viewers. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, please subscribe. Please like it. Give us a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. All of that helps a lot. Leave a comment. Leave a review. Those things really, really, really do help us. So we want to ask that you would do that. And yeah, come on back. We will be reviewing episode 4 next week. And I think that's it. So, with all that in mind, for my good friends Sandy, Shamato, and also Apple Zax, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening or watching the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.